Good evening. I'm Dan Jennings with a special Blue Wave report on the NRA. The NRA wants you to believe their mission is all about protecting your Second Amendment rights. The fact is they couldn't care less about yours or anyone else's Second Amendment rights. The NRA is nothing but a shill for the gun manufacturers who give them huge sums of money which enriches the NRA. Yep, it's all about the Benjamins. Now let's look at how this works. The NRA is one of the largest dark money organizations out there. In the 2016 election cycle, it reported over $35 million in contributions, by far the most the NRA had ever collected on an election, without revealing the correct source of the funds. Where does this money come from? Our FBI recently launched an investigation into just this question and may be on its way to uncovering the truth. One of the connections the FBI must be looking into is its connection to a Russian central banker, Alexander Torshin. You'll be hearing that name a few more times. A Putin ally who illegally funneled money through the NRA and into the Trump campaign. The NRA at first denied this allegation, but has since admitted that since Mr. Torshin is an NRA lifetime member, some now, of his contributions to the NRA may have made its way to political campaigns that the NRA donates to. Mr. Torshin also regularly attended the NRA annual meetings with, surprise, the recently indicted Maria Butina. The illegal contributions were likely facilitated through a mystery election consulting firm, Starboard Strategic, which had never before appeared in FEC reports and lists no staff. The NRA appears to be their sole client. They have paid the vendor over $40 million, 26 of which went solely to supporting the election of Donald Trump. The NRA's Russian ties don't stop there, however. It also met with Dmitry Rogozin, a deputy prime minister, in December of 2015. At the time of the meeting, he was under sanctions by the United States. Apparently, this fact posed no obstacles or concerns for the NRA, since Mr. Rogozin's business was looking for buyers for the Russian Ursus sniper rifle. An NRA delegation, including Sheriff David Clark, traveled to Russia, where they were photographed and video-tubed fawning over this sniper rifle. The Russians then loaded this to YouTube as a marketing campaign. This rifle is one of the few Russian rifles that can pierce body armor worn by American troops, and it is now spreading across the globe. How patriotic of the NRA. But now, let's return to the recently indicted Maria Butina. The indictment reveals that on March 24, 2015, Butina allegedly emails person number 1 to propose a project titled Diplomacy. The email subject line references a former KGB propagandist, and she writes that Political Party 1, clearly the Republicans, will gain power in 2016, but are traditionally associated with negative and aggressive foreign policy, particularly with regards to Russia. Think about Reagan, think about Bush. The time was right, she wrote, to build a relationship with the party using the central place and influence in the Republican Party, the NRA. We now know that Maria Butina was an unregistered foreign agent and a gun rights activist who was lobbying for the legalization of firearms in Russia and was in touch with Americans and busy executing a plan to wield influence in Washington through the NRA, which saw a new frontier opening. It's a long, tangled tale, but the upshot was that there was a meeting with Paul Erickson, a GOP consultant, who attempted to set up a meeting between then-candidate Donald Trump and Alexander Torshin. Yep, there's that name again. This was all done with an eye to creating a back-channel conduit so that Russian money could be funneled to the GOP and particularly to the 2016 Trump campaign. We know that the Putin government was on board with this because Miss Butina was notified by an unnamed Russian official that Putin and his merry band were good to go with creating a communications channel. So let's digest this sad tale of one of the most powerful and supposed patriotic lobbying groups in America. A group that throws untold millions into our elections to get their candidates elected, who is now teaming up with the murderous and corrupt Putin regime. Now imagine that that same Russian group, using Russian money, has gotten their candidates elected president and many others into Congress. Look at the donations, people. Scary, right? Is the NRA truly the patriotic group they hold themselves out to be, or simply an organization looking for money and power, even at the expense of our democratic processes? And now, the Trump administration has changed the rules to facilitate such treasonous acts by allowing dark money to be even easier to collect without reporting details on who donated and how much was donated. The NRA is nothing more than a self-serving and unpatriotic organization bordering on treasonous, which believes in nothing but the almighty dollar, and anybody who gets in their way be damned. That's all for tonight's special report. For all of us here at the Blue Wave Report, I'm Dan Jennings, reminding you as always, don't just comment. Act. Good night, everybody.